Everybody strives to purchase low and sell high. However, this is easier said than done, particularly in a market that is declining. The S&P 500 index has lost double-digit percentage points so far this year, but the master of this craft is Warren Buffett, and it would be wise to follow his moves. Lucky for us, we get to see some of the more notable trades he made in the third quarter of this year. Keep watching to see which stocks he bought and sold. There's one that was really noteworthy. Warren Buffett was quoted as saying, "Wall Street makes its money on activity. You make your money on inactivity." In a market where it seems like everyone is in fear, it's difficult to be a buyer. But on the other hand, being a contrarian investor is precisely how Buffett became so successful. When others are greedy, you should be fearful, and when others are fearful, you should be greedy. That is probably the most well-known advice attributed to Buffett. So if Warren is buying this year, why aren't you? People who keep track of the stocks that Warren Buffett buys and sells have just been presented with an unexpected development. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, which he oversees as chairman and CEO, recently announced that it had amassed a significant new stake in Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, ticker symbol TSM. Not long ago, Warren Buffett's holding company made the purchase of 60.1 million new shares in the biggest semiconductor factory in the world. The company, which is a vital contributor to the global supply network by providing chips, has taken a beating this year as shareholders worry over declining demand and increasing levels of competition. At the end of the third quarter, TSM had a value of $4.1 billion, making it the 10th largest holding that Berkshire Hathaway possesses. According to a regulatory filing created on November 14th, Buffett decided to make the transactions during the third quarter of this year. The fact that Warren Buffett is placing such a significant wager on the semiconductor industry is somewhat unexpected. For one thing, he recently put a significant amount of emphasis on expanding his exposure to companies in the energy sector, such as Chevron and Occidental Petroleum. Despite the fact that Apple is by far the largest investment in Berkshire Hathaway's equity portfolio, and only 6 of the firm's 48 stocks and 2 ETFs come from the technology sector. However, the most important takeaway from the most recent fiscal quarter is that Berkshire Hathaway was a net buyer of stocks. Based on the firm's quarterly report, Berkshire Hathaway's net stock purchases in the third quarter amounted to approximately $3.6 billion. Consider the fact that these net purchases were made despite the reality that it was typically more difficult to find good deals. The S&P 500 ended the third quarter with a loss of 5.3%, but at one moment during the quarter, the benchmark index was up almost 14% from where it had been at the end of the second quarter. In the most recent quarter, Berkshire Hathaway's net buying activity was comparable to that of the previous quarter, indicating that Warren Buffett exhibited a greater degree of greed than fear. Although Warren Buffett's net purchases in the third quarter pale compared to how the year started off, the market conditions were significantly different 3 months earlier. Stay tuned to discover other notable purchases and sales by Buffett, but before we continue, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Kaboom if you haven't already. The total stock purchases made by Berkshire Hathaway during the first quarter totaled $41.5 billion. This represents Buffett's largest expenditure on stocks since the beginning of the 2008 financial year. The S&P 500, on the other hand, dropped by more than 12 percentage points at one point during the first quarter. That most likely made it simpler for Buffett to locate stocks that were currently on sale. It is also true that the energy giant Chevron, which is included in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, was responsible for approximately half of Berkshire Hathaway's spending spree in the first quarter. In addition, new investments were made during the third quarter, including the purchase of 5.8 million shares in the housing products manufacturer Louisiana Pacific, ticker symbol LPX. Additionally, Berkshire Hathaway bought 433,558 shares of investment bank Jefferies Financial Group, ticker symbol JEF, for a total cost of $12.8 million, thereby initiating a small stake in the company. In the same vein as the LPX position, the JEF position contributes less than 0.1% to the total value of Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio. On the purchase portion of the ledger, Berkshire Hathaway increased its holdings in the previously mentioned companies OXY and CVX. Additionally, the corporation increased its holdings of Celanese, ticker symbol CE, Paramount Global, ticker symbol PARA, and Restoration Hardware, ticker symbol RH. We also knew from a submission made the previous week that Warren Buffett sold 56% of Berkshire Hathaway's stake in US Bancorp, ticker symbol USB. But another bank in the portfolio likewise took a hit. In the third quarter, Buffett reduced his exposure to the custodian Bank of New York Mellon, ticker symbol BK, by 14%. Berkshire Hathaway also reduced its stakes in General Motors, Activision Blizzard, and Kroger. Last but not least, Berkshire Hathaway completely divested itself of its holdings in the real estate investment trust Store Capital, ticker symbol STOR, thereby divesting itself of the remaining 6.9 million shares it owned. The TSM stake is the most important thing for people to remember who follow Warren Buffett's stock performance. It is daring, makes a bit of a splash, and comes as a bit of a surprise. Buffett, or one of his lieutenants, found that TSM was trading at an irresistible price because the shares have dropped by approximately 40% so far this year. So there you have it. These are some of Warren Buffett's most notable transactions of the third quarter. We're curious to hear what you think. What do you think of his large stake in TSM? Was this a big gamble, or do you think this purchase was the right move? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Kaboom for more videos.